It's a beautiful day for some DSA, and welcome back to the Cozy Club, my friends. My name is Cozy Gamer, and for today's video, we're going to be going over the entire Kingdom faction in our first faction overview. We're going to be going through each and every character. You guys are going to learn some awesome tips and tricks on every character within the Kingdom faction, the best possible team that you guys can make right now. Some really strong free-to-play teams, and we've got a special guest in today's video, my friends. After leaving today's video, you should know everything you need to know about the Kingdom faction, one of the most free-to-play factions within DSA, and also one of the most powerful right now currently within the meta. Now, Cozy Club, I love the Kingdom faction. First of all, it's not the same old Hero Hamada tech lead that you see within live PvP and really everywhere else within the game. Second, they've got some amazing control. We're going to get into that a little bit later. And then third, it's some of the best characters within Disney Sorcerer's Arena are in the Kingdom faction, and a lot of the potential great characters like Tangled characters, Maleficent we know is coming, some great Kingdom characters will be heading down the line, and you'll kind of have this team invested in already. Not to mention, they were the global launch meta, so if you've been playing Disney Sorcerer's Arena for a long time, odds are you've got yourself a pretty solid Kingdom team. So again, today, hot tips and tricks, the best team and everything in between. If you guys want to see me use my Kingdom team, I'll be using them on stream a lot as it's my main team these days. So feel free to come on, give me a follow, check the description down below for my Twitch channel, my friends, and let's go ahead and jump into the Kingdom faction overview. So my friends, right here is every single Kingdom character, a little bit of a Street Fighter style menu here. We're going to be going through all their stats, their abilities, and some nice tips and tricks with each of the heroes here. And if I've already done a video, we'll go ahead and direct you to the video that I've done about said character so that you can get more information about these characters if you so wish. So looking at the Kingdom Affinity as an entire faction, they are the kings and queens of control. Now, why should you pick the Kingdom faction? Well, there's a lot of reasons, and let me just name a few of them. First of all, they're a really free-to-play friendly faction overall. We know we're gonna get a lot more Kingdom characters down the line like we talked about. And in general, I think that the Kingdom faction has a lot of control and great things going for it. If you have a counter to your team, there's another Kingdom character that's meant to help out and then counter the counter to your team. So in general, Kingdom has a lot of things going for it. Excited about the overall use and free-to-play ability with it. They're not going to be the fastest characters. That's going to be awarded, obviously, to Hero, Hamada, and the Tech Squad. However, guys, they don't need to be the fastest to punch up and do their job well, because once they've got a turn, they hold on to the control of the turn meter really well, and you can actually use that against your opponent and start to really stack up some insane combos. So love that about them. They all have some pretty great average high speed, which is going to be nice again to gain that control. You've got a powerful leadership within Shan Yu, and again a faction that's going to keep on being built upon. So let's jump into each character, starting off with that top left meta maker, Shan Yu. So Cozy Club, for every single character taking Shan Yu first, you're going to see all of the stats laid out nice and neat for you. These are going to be the max stats for the character, and then they're going to have stones next to the ones that can be manipulated by Sorcerer Stones. We're also going to have these ability graphics with the colors representing the runes that are needed to upgrade the abilities. Guys, you can see all this, and it was made by awesome Volberos, clubmate of mine within Frontierland, guys. So give him some mad props, and let's go ahead and talk about Shan Yu. Now, what I love about Shan Yu is his passive bow to me is going to be taking turn meter from the enemy and also giving himself turn meter on critical hits. Now, when he does what do you see, his hawk will fly across the screen, and you can actually take turn meter from 3 of the enemies on a flanking row. And then also within those critical hits, you have a chance to give Shan Yu speed meter as well. His basic will be hitting other characters. You pair that up with Belle, and you can have Belle sending out Shan Yu, hitting a basic and having a 75% chance to chain to the adjacent opponent and also be able to remove that TM. So altogether, Shan is a snowball. Once you get him powered up and going, he's going to be hitting some massive hits. If you've got an attack stone, offense stone on him, huge hits out of Shan Yu, or if you've got a speed stone, you can use him as a control king within the lineup. But you want to make sure you've got another damage user. Next up on the list is Beast, and we already have an entire in-depth guide about Beast. If you guys want to know everything great about Beast, go ahead and check out the video above. But really quickly, here are Beast's stats as well as his ability upgrades right here. You guys can pause the video and check these out. Beast is definitely something that makes the entire Kingdom faction just bump up to that top meta level. But without Beast, you're still able to make some really solid teams. But what I like about Beast is the entire basic mechanic that makes him work. And we're going to get into that when we talk about the best possible teams. But guys, Beast is definitely worth the investment, especially if you have a Kingdom team altogether. So if you miss him the first time around, make sure you go back and get him, because his overall tankiness is very important to make the entire Kingdom team work, unless you want to go with a Jasmine tank. Next up, looking at Princess Belle. And Belle is really the cog that makes this Kingdom machine work, right? So again, you're never going to go first as a Kingdom team. However, with Belle's Reflect, she'll be giving out plenty of turn meter. She'll also be giving out Kingdom turn meter to show me the Beast, and Beast and her obviously marry perfectly together. Why I love Belle with the Kingdom faction, and I think she's the most essential piece of this team in my opinion, is she'll be calling others to do basic attacks, pairing up perfectly with Mulan, which we'll talk about in a hot minute. And then also, altogether, she's a cleanser. She can put harmful effects out on the field, and she really gets that turn meter train going for them. She's got some great stats, and here are her ability upgrades. Really, that basic is the one you want to focus getting up first, and then after that, focus on the Reflect and some of the other abilities. I'm loving Belle so much that she'll probably get her own spotlight video, guys, so be on the lookout for that. But altogether, Belle with the Princess and Kingdom synergy is really what makes this team work so well. Let's get down to business and talk about Mulan. Now, Mulan's got her own video as well. You can check that up above. Guys, we're going to be tagging the people that have videos so that if you want to see more in depth, you can check that out. Mulan is incredible with her tactics, Princess, and Kingdom synergy, working well with just about any Kingdom character, and great as an overall plug-and-play character. Mulan's role on the Kingdom team is to be controlling the speed turn meter through her basics, pumping out silences, and if she's left alone long enough, she's got the big AoE stun attack, and guys, it is deadly. Check out some of the damage here. So altogether, love Mulan, love her stats and her overall abilities. Now, Lumiere is one of the newer Kingdom characters with a nice charm and some mechanics with blind. Now, right now, he's kind of being left out of the main Kingdom teams. Might find himself a spot with Ursula once she comes out to kind of cleanse those blinds for Kingdom teammates. I do like what he's got going for him. He just doesn't really warrant enough use to replace another Kingdom character, although he is used to get Beast, so you're gonna have to get him up anyway, and I do like that he can feed TM, but he's probably kind of on that second Kingdom team. Kingdom is a little bit like Oceanic, where there's kind of two teams you can make out of them, really with one solid lead, so Lumiere and Cogsworth are gonna be on that team. Speaking of Cogsworth, he's gonna marry perfectly with Lumiere and probably miss Potts and Maurice altogether. But again, just kind of missing a little bit of something, or we can't really quite figure it out. Now, I do think Cogsworth has some great potential to give Beast some great defense, so that Beast and his Enchanted Rose mechanic has so much defense that he can survive just about any hit. I love that Cogsworth is an off tank that can take damage every now and then, and he does some things nice. I like that he can cleanse slow. I mean, there's some things that Cogsworth does great. Here's his stats and his ability runes right here, my friends. But overall, I think Cogsworth definitely will find his role. It's just not quite with the main Kingdom team. Miss Potts is coming up next, and Miss Potts is really the recovery MVP. She can do some absolutely crazy healing. She's got ways to really give herself a lot of turn meter. However, she just, again, doesn't find a spot. Now, she does currently counter Fairy Slumber, but if Slumber doesn't get nerfed, I think she can definitely find herself in some squads. Definitely with Enrage, she's got some very nice healing mechanics to kind of counteract poison, and she can be used as an overall effective healer for just about any squad. I just don't find myself putting her in Kingdom factions altogether. I'm not done with the Beauty and the Beast trio, guys. The Furniture trio, I think, has a lot of possibilities, and I'm excited to see their overall potential. But as of right now, I'm going to give her a great raid quality tune in general, but just not great for PvP. Robin Hood Cozy Club. Guys, if you don't know, Robin Hood is pretty much my new favorite character in the game. The things that he is doing for the Kingdom faction is absolutely insane. And all the way back in August, we knew Robin Hood had some great potential, and it is really starting to shine. Now, if you saw my Twitch stream, you guys know just the craziness that Robin Hood's doing. I also posted that on my Twitter, which you can find in the description below. But guys, Robin Hood does everything you want him to do. He'll be giving an entire flanking row guaranteed crit while also extending a helpful effect on one of your characters. For me, I love putting this on Beast, Shan Yu, and Sheriff, and you have all three of them doing a job amazing. You're gonna have Sheriff doing the big numbers, Shan Yu getting those guaranteed crits to remove that TM, and then of course, Beast and his big abilities. What I love too is you can increase Beast's taunt to a 2-turn taunt, effectively making him a great solo tank. And altogether, Robin Hood does some freakish damage, Cozy Club. Check out some of this damage right here. It's just absolutely bonkers what he can pump out altogether. He's also able to feed TM back to himself. And then the best part about Robin Hood, and my favorite part about him, is going to be his passive favorable odds. Now, we're going to be talking about the team and how this all comes together perfectly, so make sure you stay tuned for the end of the video, and we'll get to how favorable odds works perfectly for the team, but his passive makes the whole Kingdom team all together click, and he's currently probably my favorite T8 Kingdom character that I have thus far. All right, Cozy Club, next one on the list is Sheriff of Nottingham. Probably one of the most toxic characters within Disney Sorcerer's Arena. But guys, he can be shut down. Just put some Intimidate on him. But if you don't manage Sheriff, he's really going to go absolutely crazy. If you want to see a full in-depth guide, you guys are going to see the stats here, and then you'll also see the ability upgrades. But go ahead and check out the video up above for a complete breakdown on Sheriff with his ability priority and stone use and everything in between. I love Sheriff overall in the Kingdom faction though, because he just utilizes buffs better than just about any other character. Now, when you have Robin Hood, you're going to be giving guaranteed crit. You've got Shan Yu lead, killing opponents, giving them attack up. Guys, Sheriff just does a great stacking mechanic with buffs and can hit some just ridiculous numbers. So he works well against the meta teams, he works well against tech, and is very vital to having a lot of teams. So overall, Sheriff, very solid tune and one of the best Kingdom characters. Anna is next up on our list, a character that most of you guys should definitely have in your roster by this point. Anna is going to be great, obviously, with the Frozen faction and her sister Elsa, but she's actually very advantageous to use within the Kingdom faction. Anna's going to boost up her allies around her, give out buffs, and really help control again what Kingdom does best, and that's going to be maintaining turn meter within your team and reducing it on the enemy. So this is the way, guys. We'll be reducing speed turn meter, putting offense down on everybody, and then also pumping up speed turn meter. Now, she'll be a big key in the basic assist team, what we'll talk about in a bit as well, but I love what Anna does. Has some very solid stats and good T8 upgrades. Anna fits in perfectly with the Kingdom faction, and if you use her, she's a great plug-and-play character altogether. Maurice the Beast is next up on our list, who also has his own video, which again, you can check up above. Maurice is able to do some crazy things really with the tech faction. I think Maurice is definitely an amazing character. Now, he's obviously one that I think everybody should farm. He's going to do incredible things within the raid. However, I like using him with my tech faction a bit more than the Kingdom faction, or with just summonable units altogether. I love what Maurice can bring with the Cauldron with your team, but again, he just feels a little bit off with the Kingdom faction. So really great hero, more of a tech hero in my opinion, but altogether, check him out up above if you want to see more on Maurice. Now, talk about the OG meta. We've got Sorcerer Mickey, who... guys, Mickey's been on the bench for a while now. He hasn't really done or brought anything new to the Kingdom faction. His TA upgrades are okay. He used to get an AoE slow, but now Honey Lemon does that better. Overall, I like Mickey. I wish I could use Mickey more, but there's just characters in this overall roster that will be a better team spot. Now, that to say, Mickey's still a very good free-to-play character, someone that you can bring up if you want to. We're excited to see what the new Mickey is going to look like, but I think that Sorcerer Mickey just has kind of fallen off. We'll have to see if he can bring anything to the table, but his AoE slow, some of his assist mechanic is nice, and I think he's going to fit all the way together better with the Mickey and Friends squad. Again, my friends, no one fights like Gaston, and no one really dies like Gaston. Gaston right now needs a lot of love, and he really missed his chance. The Beauty and the Beast overhaul update has come to DSA. We thought we were going to see a lot of Gaston love. I thought he was going to get a big bump up, and really nothing happened to him. Now, he is a fast tank underneath Shan Yu. He can do some okay things with blind, but really outside of the haste and the blind, he just fell out of the meta. He's never the meta, to be honest, and hopefully he gets an overall buff to his kit one day. I've got to see Gaston be useful. Guys, let me know down in the comments. Should Gaston be useful even more? I'm going to challenge you guys. Let's see as a comment if we can do the entire Gaston song one at a time, commenting after each other. That'd be a fun challenge. Gaston, he's great. Hopefully he gets a buff up, but right now you can skip him. Now you see on this list, you see here, it's a tease, but Maleficent is on the list, guys. I can't tell you how many videos I get Cozy, why did you not talk about Maleficent? Well, she's not available yet. We can view her. She's in the game, but she's not in the game, if that makes sense. Now, the cool thing about Maleficent being a Kingdom character is that you can kind of be sure to know that Kingdom is going to be relevant for a long time. Now, we talked about this with Tangled characters and other characters coming to the Kingdom realm. However, Maleficent, we know, is going to be an incredible character altogether, and she's going to have that Kingdom tag, so we know that Kingdom will be relevant for quite some time. Excited what she can do. Hopefully she brings in a powerful lead and a very heavy-hitting ability. That's kind of what Kingdom is missing altogether, but excited that we have the potential to have her down the line. My friends, the bottom 4 rows is going to be reserved for an interview, exclusive interview with the Kingdom God himself, a guy that has been using Kingdom for a very long time, and a friend and a clubmate of mine named Cwild. We're going to be interviewing him, asking him some really cool specific questions about the characters, and overall, I'm excited for you guys to hear what he has to say. Cwild, how are you doing today?
Oh, doing fantastic. Thank you for having me on, Cozy.
Of course, man. So we definitely want to highlight you with the Aladdin faction in general. I think they're your specialty. Tell me a little bit about you using Aladdin and your history, and then let's jump into each character.
Yeah, sure. So originally, when I was looking at the level 70 skills, trying to just, save as much money as I can and get as big of a bang for my buck as I can. Looked at the skills of these tunes. I thought that they would be able to be used well in Conquest, and I also thought that I'd be able to compete in my Sorcerer's tournament with maximum investment.
Awesome, brother. Well, looking at each hero, starting off, let's go ahead and let's check out Aladdin and Jasmine together, then we'll check out kind of Genie and Jafar. So looking at first Aladdin and then Jasmine, what are some just tips overall for the community and some things that you like about each character?
All right, so being transparent right now in the meta, Aladdin's just not that great. That being said, he's still a really good tune to start with. He's still fast enough to do well. His one jump ahead actually hits really hard if you invest it to level 4, especially if you're using shadows with Genie, because every single shadow that's on the field, as well as the duplicates, get that bonus. That increases the damage per 10%. So he ends up hitting pretty hard. I think the max I've had him hit was 32,000.
Oh my gosh.
Also his passive, it seems minuscule, but it does add up in the course of a fight, as well as his turn meter chance on his carpet. You end up actually using him more to clear evades, which is what Aladdin's problem is. However, at gear 8, he does hit 145 speed, which is pretty fast.
Awesome. Thank you, Cwild. Right here is Aladdin's stats and ability rune upgrades. Right now, again, Aladdin really isn't fitting the Kingdom mold altogether, kind of falling out with Sorcerer Mickey. They were way up on top, and now they're falling down a little bit. Let's go ahead and talk about Jasmine.
She was my favorite Kingdom member for the longest time. She's super fast. She's surprisingly tanky, and she has a lot of fun interactions with her and other members of the team. Her offense down on her basic is absolutely amazing, especially if you shadow Jasmine. You can have multiple Jasmines going in at the same time to attack with Raja, doing actually a considerable amount of damage, plus stacking offensive downs to give you a better chance of them actually landing. She does decent damage, but the cleanse is actually really good. The cleanse actually comes in clutch, when you're trying to get those silences off, or you're going against the silence meta and you get lucky. The problem is it's all luck, right? But overall, her damage is, it's not bad. It's mediocre. I'd say her acrobatic assault, crits for about 8k, which I think is decent, because you're typically getting Raja to follow up for another 3k, and then you can have Aladdin actually jump in with her to hit for, I don't know, another 3 to 4k. So she does have some potential. She is pretty tanky, but unfortunately Raja just not that tanky. So he gets wiped pretty quick.
Now, looking at her stats and her ability upgrades, one of the things I love about Jasmine is her overall synergy. Kingdom has incredible synergy within the faction, and that's what makes them so great. but all the Aladdin characters also share a separate synergy, so you can really get some stacking on multiple synergies to provide some great teammate mechanics. Now, there are 2 different kingdom teams you can run. The one that Cwild is talking about, you guys can see here, really fun that they can use the old Aladdin characters. Really going to be more useful for kind of the AI, not really much in PvP as much, but with Beast coming out, he's going to bump up the kingdom faction altogether. Now, Cozy Club, you guys know I love Genie. You know I've had a big heart for Genie for a long time. Cwild, what do you have to say about Genie?
All right, so Genie is the glue that made this whole project actually hold together and work. So Genie, first and foremost, he's super expensive investments on your runes. He actually costs just as much as Beast, the legendary character that just came out, to the T. Same alphas, same betas, same gammas. But that being said, the investment is worth it if you enjoy his playstyle. So Genie has amazing synergy with everybody else, but he also has, you know, it's kind of hidden, but he has the potential to do outstanding damage. With his basic, if you're shadowing Genie, I've hit upwards to, you know, 25,000 with just Genies. It's pretty incredible. But the real reason to use Genie is to give some control to the kingdom team. So when you actually get Genie up to 7.5, he becomes incredibly fast. So if you're not going against a G8 hero or a G8 Baymax, he'll actually go before Baymax will. So he's able to send his rocket out, his the real firecracker. And if you get it to level 4, which I highly recommend you do if you plan on playing him, it's an 80% chance to silence. So silencing Baymax is key to setting up the next part of one of the charm on the next character we're going to talk about. But Genie also has his cleanse is absolutely unbelievable. If you at gear 8, you have a 40% chance to cleanse 2 harmful effects onto 2 enemy targets, which as you know, Cozy, works really well.
I was going against Cwild the other day, and I got a double charmed off Jafar's. The whole interaction was almost too crazy to believe. Genie is an impeccable character that I think is a great plug-and-play character for many teams and really get some great bonuses down the line. And guys, that's what I love. I think Kingdom can transition beautifully through free-to-play, through mid-game, and then all the way to the end-game. They're going to last you a really long time, and that is what has me excited about them. Now, lastly, the villain who needs more respect and love, it's Jafar. Cwild, what do you have to say about Jafar?
It's a shame that Jafar isn't completely free to play. He was actually the first purchase that I made in the game because I love the movie. I also love the character and I love the villain. So I wanted to invest in him. I'm a big sucker for continuous damage. I think it's fun. I think it's a cool mechanic. And he excels at that. He's actually incredibly strong with his passive proccing and stuff like that. At gear 8, I had him crit upward to 14k, which I think is pretty good for just a passive thrown out there. And when you include the dots, you know, you're adding an additional 3 to 4k on top of that. So not bad. But obviously, the reason Jafar is known is his charm ability and his charm mechanic. Unfortunately, for Jafar, just being transparent with everybody, he doesn't get any speed upgrades at gear 8. And that actually hurts him because before gear 8, he was in a very good spot to get charms off on Baymax, to get charms off on, before the other team was going. You always really had a 4v5. That's not so much the case now, and you have to kind of play around with the field and manipulate things you want to do, and you might not be able to charm until turn 2. But charm has a lot of crazy interactions in this game that I don't think a lot of people are very aware of. For instance, if you this is a little secret I've been using for a long time now, but let's say you charm a Baymax and you kill that Baymax with charm, you're actually, because the game thinks that character is on your team, the passive procs for you. You can cleanse your whole team. So I've been using it as an old school blue fairy magic on my own team to save me in multiple matches. There's other interactions that it works like that with, during the Frozen Meta specifically. I used it to charm Anna. Most people would charm Kristoff to not get the taunt out. But for me, I was charming Anna because when she attacks somebody on her opponent on her team, she's proccing counters on your team to hit them as well. So there's a lot of interactions with Charm. It's really, really fun. It's the reason I actually stuck with him. And then he also has his Hourglass ability, Time's Running Out, which crits right now for 36,000. So it hits hard. It's hard to get it to go off, but it hits incredibly hard. And if you are able to get it off, you're well rewarded. Now, to just a little fun fact about that as well, there's multiple ways to proc it quicker than 4 turns. So anytime you cast the spell on a target, let's say you slumber somebody, that's automatically going to take 2 counters off of the 4 counter and turn it into 2 automatically. The reason for that is turn meter reduction actually counts as a harmful effect, and the sleep itself counts as a harmful effect. So you can actually explode these things pretty quickly if you kind of set yourself up to do so. It's pretty fun.
What would you say, giving just some names against some squads that you see, who would be your top 3 priority targets to charm?
Baymax is definitely my number 1 priority to charm because everyone in live PvP seems to love running Slumber. Okay. So it's a good safeguard for me to get out of a pinch. I love charming, like I said, Anna. I charm Hero just to prevent him from being, ridiculous, because it kind of lets you, if you control Hero, you can kind of control the game. Zerg is a good one because he has the triple hit on his basic, so he actually hits for a good chunk of damage. Stitch is the same way. I'll do Stitch. And my all-time favorite is Maui. If they have absolutely no way of cleansing a Maui, you can keep that Maui charmed for the whole duration of the 2 turns with all of his team dying without him even getting to go. And then you're able to Hourglass him before that charm wears out, wear that down, explode him before his invincibility gets off.
Oh man, love it.
He's just incredibly slow. So Maui's probably my favorite, followed by Baymax.
The last question is, who's your most underrated Kingdom character that needs more light?
Jafar.
Yes, I like that. I like that answer, dude. That has me excited, especially as someone who hasn't fully gone into him. Do you think these new Beauty and the Beast characters have any hope? These Lumiere, Cogsworth, and Spots?
I do. Just maybe not in the modes that players really love to play when they're looking at these characters. So in live PvP, and in your Sorcerer's tournament, I don't think you're going to get incredible value.
Awesome, brother. Well, thank you so much for coming on, Cwild. It's great to pick your brain with the Aladdin faction, the Kingdom faction overall. Now, what I love is both Cwild and myself use Kingdom very differently. Cwild goes for a very traditional Kingdom team that I love, and it absolutely kicks butt within the arena. And I go more for this basic Kingdom team that once we get through these last 2 characters, you guys are going to hear about. But guys, Kronk and Yzma being the last 2 characters, here is quickly their runes and their stats. But right now, they're not going to be viable in many teams. Some great abilities, but overall, you're not going to be using them within your Kingdom team. So avoid them until we get the Emperor's New Groove overall update and we get Cusco within the game. Like this video if you want Cusco in DSA. So Cozy Club, we've gone through all the characters. We've gone through the rune crunch graphics and then also all the stats. We've gotten the tips and the tricks about a lot of these characters and now some great stuff that I love. Let's talk about the synergy and the best team. Now, I love all the princess synergy within the Kingdom faction. I love the amount of assists that can be called, and I've built a team that has capitalized on those assist calling mechanics and those basic attacks to create one of the best teams within DSA. Now, first of all, honorable mention, instead of Beast, if you want to use Jasmine here, she's going to pair perfectly with Mulan, calling her to assist. And then also, Raja is going to call Jasmine to assist when he attacks, causing a bunch of different chains of Mulan assisting over and over. And so actually, Jasmine is a great fill-in for the Beast. Now, Cozy Club, let's talk about all this synergy to create the best possible Kingdom team and one that I'm running at the top of the game right now that, again, is going to transition perfectly through beginning, mid, and late game, guys. If you go after these characters, they're going to be great for a long time, and you're going to get some great investment overall with all of your resources. Now, guys, this is an extremely free-to-play friendly team. If you get rid of Beast, you can plug in Jasmine for some great synergy with both Mulan and also Raja. Now, I've got Robin Hood in the back. You've got Beast, Sheriff, or Mulan, and Shan Yu in the front. You're going to give them guaranteed crit and have a very fast Robin Hood to get the crits out on the board. And once that's happened, guys, it's over. You're gonna have complete control over the enemy through Shan Yu and all of his turns. You're gonna see some major attacks out of Beast or slash Jasmine, who's gonna call Mulan for some big hits and speed turn meter reduction. This entire team talks to each other so well, and I'm excited to use this team in the future of PvP. Now, the best part about this team is if I want to take someone like Mulan out or even Robin Hood out, you've got another character that has Kingdom synergy that can plug in instantly and make the team viable. So guys, this is the basics of the team that you're looking at right here, but we did make a full video yesterday, so you can go ahead and see that up on the top there if you want to check it out and really see what makes this team work all together. But I'm excited that Kingdom is back into the meta, my friends. Check out the video yesterday to get more details. There it is. There's the best possible team you can run. You can run this as free to play or pay to play with Beast and dominate the arena. Hopefully, guys, you learned something about the Kingdom faction today or checked out all the other videos we did on the characters in depth to completely know the faction. Now, I want to do a faction overview for all of the other factions within the game, but I want to know if you guys like it. Guys, we've got a lot of great videos coming out this week and next week before Christmas. If you like it, go ahead, subscribe as we're getting closer to 10K. And until next time, my friends, stay cozy.